What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be talking about VEVE's new partnership with Immutable X. But before we do this, if you enjoyed this video then please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you're new around here. So VEVE just recently put a tweet out saying that Immutable X will be doing their minting their carbon-free NFTs as well as facilitating their gasless trading. Now, I actually went and did some research into Immutable X, watched some interviews from some of the owners, which I believe one of the owners here is Robbie Ferguson, and I've learned some pretty interesting stuff that I want to share with you in this video about where his perspective is with Immutable X and how I believe this correlates really like seamlessly and synergetically with where VEVE want to go long term. Now, some of the key aspects that he touched upon within this interview was, one, that it has to be truly decentralized, and two, that it has to be truly secure. Now, I'm going to touch upon the secure part of which I think is really important, because as VEVE go on to scale their digital assets and people are essentially be able to interchange their NFTs and be able to move them about, there has to be an element of security within the platform itself, especially within the trading aspect of it. Because if you could imagine, and he touched upon this in one of his in one of the sort of comparisons he made, if a company was to have an NFT stolen, then this would be far more damaging to the brand than essentially having, say, a product that was launched and not everyone enjoyed. Now, if you can imagine this or relate this to VEVE, let's say that you had an NFT that was stolen from you. You know, you made some mistakes and you were maybe let's just say one was stolen. It doesn't matter the scenario that played out. You're going to have a much more negative connotation with VEVE's brand. Now, obviously, we've spoken about this in previous videos about how VEVE's brand reputation is going to be critical for them long term, especially when you consider the scaling aspects. And we'll talk about this a little bit later in the video. But in terms of security of the customer, people need to have confidence that their digital asset and their digital product has security and is being represented in the best way in terms of that security. Now, you can see why VEVE made this partnership, because Immutable X, actually their main focus point is security and products. And seeing VEVE make sort of these critical partnerships, you can see why they would do this, because damaging their brand reputation through non-secure assets can be extremely bad moving forward, and it's really not something you want PR to catch on to. We want them to continue to do headlines like the carbon neutral aspect of the NFT platform, the quality of the products being released, the type of the high quality licenses we're seeing. We don't want to see bad headlines in terms of poor security and loss of product through stealing. So I just thought I'd touch upon that. Now, another aspect that I've learned from this video that I wanted to touch upon with you is that they were behind the Gods Unchained, which, if you're not sure what God Unchained is, essentially it's a trading card digital platform or marketplace where people buy and trade these sort of trading cards. I don't know a lot about it, but there were some key aspects he touched on which I really thought would be important to share with you in relation to why I believe that VEVE is going to continue is using Immutable X. One of them was, in the first 24 hours, there was more peer-to-peer NFT trades occurring via Immutable's Layer 2 than occurred on Ethereum's Layer 1 in the previous week. Now, this is all in relation to the launch of the Gods Unchained platform. Now, I think that's actually a really important point to make here, is that they have a very robust platform. And when you consider the fact that VEVE are going to have millions of users inside of their application, you need to have a platform that can handle scale. Especially and as VEVE continue to scale out and like with his PR firm continue to sort of outreach into more external markets, they need to have a secure system that facilitates this trading. Now, we can use Immutable X's sort of comparison with Gods Unchained to see, you know, they were able to handle more peer-to-peer, so peer-to-peer meaning person-to-person trading in one day than what occurred on the Ethereum network. Now, I think that's extremely important to remember here. When we see how robust this system will be for VEVE, when we go into more higher scaling and a lot more NFTs being interchanged from person to person in the marketplace. And another thing he talked about as well was that it actually saved users over $500,000, in gas fees. Now, this is critical when you consider the fact that VEVE want to have a platform that everyone wants to feel that they can use in a seamless way, and they want to have the least resistance to trading within their marketplace. So more users are openly enjoying it and trading and essentially creating collections by trading with their friends and family. What you don't want to have is really high gas fees, and obviously with Ethereum's Ethereum mainnet, there is a lot of gas fees that happen with that current with Ethereum currently, and we all know this. But obviously with their layer 2 solution, they've essentially eliminated gas fees, which in my opinion is going to be massive for VEVE. To use that as a point of reference, if you can imagine when there's 3 or 4 million different transactions going off at a time, when they've got millions of users and there's people just trading constantly, to say they have no gas fees is going to be an incredibly good PR aspect of their trading marketplace. So I just thought that was a really cool point to touch upon that they made with their comparisons to Gods Unchained. And this all happened within this interview, by the way. So if you want to go through and watch this, I definitely recommend to do it. It's quite technical. That's why I've decided to condense it and try and explain it the best way I can. But if you're interested in it, I definitely recommend watching it. And then the other point that I want to make to you as well is that, and I think this was really critical when he made this point. I thought this was really important to remember. The average NFT trading price on this particular platform right now was $23. Now, for most people, it'd be like, well, why is that significant? Well, there are currently on the Ethereum mainnet, so not layer 2, on the actual Ethereum mainnet, there are not transactions happening under $23 right now. So essentially, all that liquidity for lower value assets just doesn't exist. Which makes it very difficult for NFT transactions to continue to play out in an effective way on the Ethereum mainnet right now. So when you look at this layer 2 solution, they've essentially opened up a whole new marketplace for transactions under $23 because of the no gas fees. And you can't justifiably make a transaction that's for an NFT that's valued at $23. If you're going to have to pay $100 in gas fees, it just doesn't make any sense. And that whole market's completely just doesn't exist because of this. So this layer 2 solution rectifies that problem. And when you relate this to VEVE, VEVE have a lot of products right now that are in that sort of lower price range. We've got basically most of the Cryptkins are anywhere between sort of $30 and below. But there are, if you look at the Myrmicornos, a lot of them are lower value. And the point is that there's going to be assets inside of VEVE that are going to trade below $23. And that's extremely important. I think that's why this partnership's taking place as well, because they can facilitate the lower value transactions for VEVE. So I just thought I'd make a key aspect about that. This no gas fees is extremely important. And it just further validates, in my opinion, that VEVE are making very critical partnerships here for the overall scalability and usability of their platform long term. Now, I think another point I just want to touch upon is they want to give users a frictionless and seamless experience. You want to have it so that when new users come into this platform, they're not met by high gas fees, that they can trade in a free marketplace. And seeing that one of the focus points of VEVE right now is just, is that sort of mass appeal, in my opinion. Yeah, we have seen this new limited edition run that's come out. I recently, in my video yesterday, talking about this, and I do think that's heavily created towards collectors. But the main aspect of VEVE, really, in my opinion, is sort of that mass scalability, that to have products for everybody to enjoy, meaning that then there's going to be assets that are going to be low value. So that when you have new users come in, if you're going to buy something at, say, $9-10, then you don't want to be paying high gas fees, which is going to essentially create a friction within the marketplace itself. It's going to cause users to be deterred. So having a frictionless and seamless experience, in my opinion, is extremely important. And another point that he touched upon in this video, which I think was, I mean, honestly, if you want, you should watch this interview. I think it just highlights some really key elements. He's an extremely intelligent man. You can't have a sustainable game economy without scarce NFTs. I thought this was just an incredible point to make here when we think about some of the focus points of what this company are doing right now. Economy is essentially is generated on scarcity, specifically when you look at the cryptocurrency space. A lot of the reason why the value is higher than Bitcoin is the scarcity aspect attached to it. and you know, it's created value because of it. And when you look at the element of NFTs, the scarcity within NFTs is going to allow for the scalability of this market. Now, the reason I touch upon this, or the value within the market. Now, the reason I touch upon this is because it's important for us to keep in mind and reference where Immutable X's focus points are and what they're trying to create solutions to. And seeing that they understand this, that they understand the actual ecosystem and the economy of the gaming economy inside of NFTs, I just think opens up a very interesting conversation when we look at the partnership between VEVE and Immutable X. You know, we're going to see this. You know, VEVE have scarce NFTs. So I know some people believe that a lot of it's highly minted, and there are some, like the DeLorean Common, I think are too highly minted. But generally speaking, on scale, these are going to be quite scarce. The scarce aspect of it is there is a finite number. You know, there is a total minted, and there won't be any more created for that particular run or that particular series. So I just thought seeing his perspective on that definitely was interesting to watch into, or to listen into. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not the most technical when it comes down to stuff like this, but I can definitely appreciate the sort of in between the lines of why I believe this is such an important partnership. And just to finally touch on a point, if you're confused about essentially how this is going to work in terms of us moving over to a new chain, which is what's going to be happening, we're going to be going from Go chain to Ethereum. I will link one of Caval Anderson's videos, the link below, where Reese touches upon this in one of his in like a live call, like an interview that he did, so that you guys can understand how that process works. I can understand the anxiety, so I will leave a link in the description below for you guys to watch that video. So thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it and found it informative, then please consider dropping a like, subscribing if you're new around here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.